What up, everybody? It's the last day of Leo. Leo is over. Well, not quite yet. Still got some hours. And as I've been thinking about, hey, what's going on, everybody? I've actually been extremely emotional about this. And not in the way that you would think, like, oh, are you just, emotional because you're a Leo and it's the end of Leo. It's like, no, maybe there's a part of that. But I think I'm really emotional about the end of Leo because, Regulus is now in Virgo. So I had this really crazy download. And honestly, yesterday, the sun at 28 Leo squares my moon at 28 Taurus. So I have not been feeling well, just generally, just haven't been feeling good, right? Not sick, but I just, had massive body aches and extremely exhausted. And 500 things to do. I'm sure all of us are going through that shit right now, But the download I got about the end of Leo and this whole Regulus thing is I am a Leo, I'm a Leo rising, so I get Leo the back of my hand. That's my Mercury, my Venus, I'm just Mr. Leo, right? I'm the Leo king. So my whole life, especially up until 2012 when Regulus moved into Virgo, I was literally happier than a clam about life. I just literally, I remember, and I still do it, so don't get me wrong, but I could look at a tree and just laugh and cry and just see all the happiness in every little corner of life, right? I'm not saying that that's not possible still, and I don't do that. But ever since Regulus went into Virgo, it's the service you do now, the work you do. So I have found my love in the work that I do, which is wonderful and it's beautiful. And it's great. But having the sun at 29 Leo, for most of us, that's where we have our Regulus, is at 29 Leo. So I think a lot of us are kind of in this teeter-totter. It's almost kind of like anybody born after 2012, they have Regulus and Virgo. It's a natural spot for them. They won't probably ever understand the old Leo Regulus of the courage and the lion's heart and this. It is a more male embodiment, whereas Virgo is a much more female embodiment. So, it's tough to be a man and embrace more of the feminine all the time. It really is. I'm going to be honest with you all. I'm not going to lie. Sure, I know how to embrace it. I know how to channel it. I know how to live it. Not perfectly. I'll be honest with you all. It's not I'm going to call myself Mr. All-Star fucking Divine Feminine that I get it. I don't. I can relate. I can, learn. But it's hard to be a Leo or any really strong masculine energy and have to embed, in yourself and your soul work, more the feminine, which is very emotional and it's very, holding things together, I got off easy for the very beginning of my life. For real. Got off super easy, just being able to just kind of be a Leo and just fucking have a good time and get away with fucking doing whatever I wanted, I was raver, did lots of drugs, partied, got kicked out of the military, and just fucking was a wild-ass Leo. Like, you know, and now, you know, since 2012, it's been, and even prior to 2012, I was doing this astrology mission, but there's something that happened in the last day to me where, you know, it's just not fucking easy holding the energy up. That's what the feminine does. It holds shit together. Like, I commend all feminine energy out there, because it's not, you know, as a man, it's not the easiest thing to take on. I'm a very emotional guy. I mean, maybe I'm lucky that I'm a cusp in, like, my whole chart. My whole chart is cusp. Sun, moon, rising, Pluto, Neptune, Jupiter, Mercury, all on cusps. So I have the Cancer side. So emotions for me I can embrace pretty well, but I just feel Regulus and Virgo's excitement is different. And being born with it in the opposite space and having it shift for the rest of time as we're going to all know it, it's very difficult. And I think if everybody taps in themselves, they'll see that this shift, it is different, and it might be a lot easier for some people. For me, it's really, the more I get down to the truth of it, it's not as easy or simple. And you know, I don't want to say it makes me question my work. You know, a lot of people get triggered by my work because it's very masculine. And Regulus is a very masculine energy, going into a very feminine energy. And I feel like Regulus is uplifting the feminine energy, but there's still a Leo quality to it. So I'm just having more of an open talk. I've been just very emotional, I think, about the work. And I did a post yesterday here on Instagram about just being an astrologer fucking is hard. Like, I would not recommend it for anybody. For real. Like a real astrologer that really owns an astrology business and does readings all the time and, you know, horoscopes every day, especially video, and tours and does lectures and writes, you know, articles, books, like the whole deal. Like, not only are you holding up kind of this embodiment of an astrologer in a world that doesn't accept it fully, sure, you could use the argument that more people are into it lately. It's still a very small number compared to pretty much a lot of other things. I mean, when you actually think about it, more people are into, I don't know, like yoga than astrology. You know what I mean? So I think I've been feeling the weight of this job for a long time now. And I think I'm feeling the weight of just being an astrologer and, like, you know, having to embody it without religious people getting crazy on me, which I get a lot of, or, you know, even the intellectual or science community just not doing things, or, you know, whether it was being on reality TV and, like, being made fun of on the show. Like, even the producers made funny music every time I talked and tried to make me look like a circus clown, to be honest with you. And even that Netflix show I was on with a couple other astrologers, Explain, they made us try and look stupid too. You know? They didn't even show my full argument think I'm just feeling a lot of that weight, you know? And that's hard. And I think that this Regulus and Virgo is about holding space, of just doing the work. And that can feel mundane many times. And I think as a double Leo, I do a good job of like making sure it looks and feels and is fun and exciting. But behind all that is holding the space the whole time. And it's tiring. And it's where this end of Leo forces people to have courage to keep going and keep doing it. So I think it's an emotional moment for a lot of people about what can you emotionally embody and make in your life and keep going with, and what can you not anymore, you know? And especially since the eclipses, and I'll even be honest, since Saturn came into Capricorn last year, the end of 2017, December, you know, I've had everybody and their mother reach out to me for fucking help. Like, so my whole life is an inbox, text messages, and I asked for this. I mean, that's what I'm saying is, like, I've got to learn to own and embody it, which I have in many ways, but I think it's much more of a mass awareness, and a lot of this came out of my therapy session yesterday, believe it or not, because I go to therapy once a week, is that what I'm trying to say is that, like, it's just nonstop everybody's problems and everybody's issues and everybody's stuff, and that's a lot, you know, and it's keeping and holding the space and making sure people are going to be okay and they're going to be positive and give them that stuff, and that, you know, if you're a machine doing that, you know, you're going to have your moments where it's like, what the hell am I doing anymore? So, I don't know, I have to turn in this prescription. But, that, you know, that's what's hard. And it's not easy. I'm just turning this in. And, yeah, it's not the easiest. I don't even know if my chat's working on here. I don't even know the way that this chat... Oh, yeah, it is working. Yeah, it's not the easiest, you know, but I try, you know, and I hit a brick wall yesterday, like, and I thought maybe I was getting sick, and maybe my body is expressing more of the emotional embodiment of this and the reality of it all, if that makes sense. And I don't know, I think that makes things kind of more difficult, for me at least. And, you know, yeah.
Okay, come back after 3:30.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.
What time do you guys close? 9?
9.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
You gotta keep going through life, you know? So it's been I'm not gonna lie, like, it's been good, but it's also been hard as fuck, and not externally, like, well, it is external, but not like the things that a lot of people reach out to me for about relationships, money, like earthly shit. For me, like I think if you really embody yourself fully in your understanding of alchemy, the world, astrology, just pretty much just the understanding of the physics of the spiritual life, those things become, you realize that God's got your back in every way if you just allow that to all happen. So you stop worrying about money, you stop worrying about your rent, you stop worrying about whether or not you have all these things, where a relationship goes, like there's everything's all divine the way that's supposed to go. You kind of stop thinking about those things, and you start going deeper into these realms of like, what are you embodying in your long-term mission? How are you able to do this? Are you able to integrate all these things? Are you able to do this? Are you able to do that? And and then I have a lot of people who project a lot of their shit on me. Like what I'm not, or what I can't do, or what I'm not. And a lot of people don't realize, like, in my container of my soul and what I'm able to do, I'm already holding fucking up the embodiment of a life that a lot of people don't live. So, like, when people start castrating me, and especially like in romantic situations, especially for me, it's like people start to be like, are you able to show up fully? Are you a vulnerable person? I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Like, I'm an all-in person in every way, but I'm not going to go all-in energies with people until I know that they have learned to embody this kind of energy in their life. Like, because I can't take that shit on. I can't be anymore in friends, relationships, or anything that isn't embodying the core understanding of all of this in their life and actually being that embodiment every day. And I don't even think it has a name of whatever that embodiment is, but I think that embodiment is of that true light that is a machine of that light every fucking second of every day. That's my life. I really do not have a life outside of this. It is literally every day. There's a video up. There's fucking messages. There's emails. There's a project to do. There's content. It's nonstop. It's doing the work. And it's very hard to find energies around that are embodying that shit every day. People look at me like I'm crazy. Like, you go to bed late? It's like, fucking, that's a lot to fucking hold on to. And if I don't hold on to it, then not only do I lose it all, but then I lose what I'm embodying, which is the main core, and then I lose myself. And then I'm out there, when I didn't embody this energy, I did not do well at life. I was on drugs, I was never making my rent, I was barely surviving, I was completely unhappy with life and finding happiness through the most unhappy means. So I fucking take a gnarly risk this life by embodying this role, which is fucking extremely taxing itself for so long and been holding the weight up for so long. And I'm very blessed that I have help from the people that are in my life right now helping me, and have been for a long time. Like Craig is like embodied fully into this. I don't know what I would do without Craig, and Abby, and everybody that's on High Vibe, and people who were on Future Life, and Sarah and Dylan, and even my ex-wife who was there for me during that time. I brought Erica on Tuesday. She was embodying it at the beginning for me and always has helped me and supported me. There's a lot of people who have been there for me through it all, so I don't want to say like I feel like alone in all this, because I've had a lot of support, and then I have all the support of everybody out there who watches me. So like, there's a lot of support, but believe it or not, in that embodiment still, it's like, it's I don't want to say it doesn't feel like enough, because that's that would be unfair, and it just is. It's a lot to fucking carry, and only can so many people carry some parts of the load, but the whole load itself falls upon the embodiment of when you become like that full person. Like, I couldn't imagine what it would have been like being the embodiment of Martin Luther King during the Civil Rights Movement. I mean, that would have just been overwhelming. Like this times a million, you know? So, and I feel like there is a major conflict in the world about understanding the laws and the nature of the universe itself, and whether or not society and people are going to embed this old knowledge or not, and erase it or not integrate it, as it is the root of the tree that blossoms the new stuff that has been made. But if you're going to cut the roots off and think that this stump is just going to grow, it ain't going to happen that way. I'm not saying that we have to live our life by making every clock an astrology clock in your car, but being more aware of what was the roots to help you understand where things are going in the future. And maybe it turns into a million things. Like, human design is a great example of what the evolution of astrology can grow into, or so forth. But in society, you know, it's a lot. So, and I'm just kind of rambling now, but yeah, I feel very I don't know, I guess you could say I do feel very alone in many ways. I have a lot of astrology friends. I know a lot of great astrologers. But I kind of, you know, go a little bit extra on the distance as far as the marathon I'm running, and I'm sprinting during the marathon. So, you know, and I'm in a position to where I can't. Sure, everybody tries to tell me, oh, you could slow down, you know? It's like, no. I wish I could. Or, and you know, if it's God's plan for me to lose all this, I mean, I don't know. And then maybe that's what it is. I really don't know. You know? But I also kind of ask for what I put out. We all do. Like, I'm a provoker. I provoke situations, like triggering people through astrology, saying things that will trigger people. So of course, back at me is going to be the same shit. You know? That's fucking hard. That's my burden to bear. You know? Like, that's my burden. So, I don't know. But I will end with this, like, at the end here of Leo. There's a reminder that the strongest dignified energy in all of astrology is the sun in Leo. And that means that it is alone. That's why Aquarius is surrounded by people. And Leo, the opposite, is not. And sometimes the more alone you get is where you find your true happiness in your heart, to then go out in the world and send that out. So, and of course, you can just call it loving yourself, which I think is like kindergarten. I think it's about loving yourself and turning that into the embodiment of love in your own unique way that shines that out in a characteristic form. It's a character. It's a stage performance. It's a performance. Liking, like, being a Leo, it's like you like the way that you look. You like the way that you say your own things. You like the way that you pee. You like the way that you do everything. When you get to that space, it's not ego. It's loving the character in which you're doing something with. And now that character, it used to be like it was okay with Regulus and Leo to get away with just being a character about anything, whether you wanted to inspire people about whatever. But in Virgo, there has to be some sort of, well, what is this doing? Is this character just being a character? Or does this character have some sort of thing to do that's going to adjust the world and the planet? And a lot of this Virgo is always about embodiment of, you know, a more pure form, right? So I don't know how else to better say it. And I think people have to remind themselves here at the end of Leo, like, because we're not going to get this big zap of courage again. We're not. We're going to go into heavy Capricorn shit. And that's all I keep saying. So I put Rising Through the Darkness out there. Like, this is your last zap. And it's not I don't think it's like the zap that people really think it is. It's very deep and internal in self, and being very aware of like where you can be the embodiment of the character, and you can't worry about what other people think about you at this moment. You can't worry about anything else but knowing what's right for you and knowing how to do whatever that is within you to embody that character and be that strong life force. And instead of feeling like, oh, if I do this, or then that'll upset that person, or that'll do, it's like, no, like, how's he gonna get through this motherfucker coming up? All this Capricorn coming up, these eclipses and Pluto-Saturn conjunction, if you do not have that fully understood within yourself. And in many ways, the end of Leo is it's the lion's heart, but it also is always associated with battle, believe it or not. The reason why the nukes were dropped, the atom bombs were dropped, was Pluto and Leo. The height of the World War II, Pluto, Leo. When Leo started, we saw all these crazy shootings and all that. Leo, people might think it's always going to be in Aries. We've seen bombs dropped, or like the Boston bombing with the Sun and Mars conjunct in Aries. So yeah, fire signs bring out like a warrior mentality, and Regulus here is like the new goddess warrior, or the feminine embodiment warrior within yourself. But I would say that, you have to, it's like putting on your armor and knowing inside what you're doing and finding that within yourself, and then being ready to go to battle. And I think, some people might not associate with that, but that's what this is. And it's pressure. And if a lot of people don't know how to handle pressure, human beings are not really built for pressure well. Why do you think we all drive in cars that are secure? We work in buildings, we live in buildings, we wear clothes. We're not fucking normal animals. You know what I mean? We're not normal. We all have our own ways. What's interesting is, like, Joe Rogan, there's a video up that he just posted about like the dangers of vegan and vegetarian diets and how people feel really good for the first 4 years, 5 years, and then they start having huge health problems. And then this one guy proved that, but also some people can do it, but some people can't. And like one of the good analogies that vegans will use will be like, well, you know, if you really were here to eat meat, that you would pick up a squirrel and just be able to bite into it and eat it. But the scientific evidence proves that we weren't able through evolution, whether we call that through apes or wherever we were in evolution, to where we actually did ingest meat, which created a bigger brain, which we learned to cut it in slices and cook it in order to make the bioavailability better. And that's also kind of what helped us in many ways. And that there's a lot of things that are in fish, meat, so forth, that we don't produce, that plants don't produce either. So how is it all going to work? And then you're supposed to supplement all. So I'm not trying to say what I believe. I'm just trying to say that we all have our own way, but we also all have to kind of like not get on everybody's fucking knocker about how to live and how to be here. And if the sun is in Leo and the sun is the ruler of all astrology, it is the most dignified point. It gives you plus 10 if you have it there. Guess what? We are the embodiment of a wild animal. Love is wild. So I think we associate love with this, you know, purity state, like the way that we love a child, or the way that we love seeing a beautiful wedding. But love is animalistic. It's beautiful, it's intense, it has rage elements, it has, you know, where you will roar, you will piss on the territory if you have to. It's got a lot of wild energy in there. And for that to move into Virgo, which wants it pure, why do you think the world's just freaking out if they see anything that's not in the idea of the perfectionism of what they think love is? If you're going to perfect love, you have to be able to understand the embodiment of the original core of what love is. And of course be able to make it more pure. So it's going through a filtration system now. But you cannot still deny some of the aspects that they are, and still learning how to be more pure from understanding how to understand it, how to express it, maybe differently, and find some better order with it, but not trapping it or denying it completely. You can't do that. That's impossible. And that's Virgo's shadow, is that it tries to harvest it perfectly and do it all, but you know, there's always going to be an imperfection. There's always going to be not enough or too much, or there's going to be things you didn't think of. Like, you know, if you're harvesting wheat, it's like, oh gosh, I didn't realize there was a bunch of spiders on here. And like, I didn't realize it looked good every time I went by, but when I actually harvested it, we've got some sort of mold on here. Or let's try and clean it off, right? That's why Virgo's, let's try and clean it off. But think about your house. Like, you can have it perfectly clean. Do the dishes, vacuum the house. It's like spotless. But how come in a week that motherfucker is not spotless no more? And you barely did anything. You just walked around, you took a shower, and you sat on the couch. And that's it, right? Like, how in the fuck did it get that crazy? Because reality is a shifty place, and nothing sits perfectly. So when you're trying to take the embodiment of a raw animalistic love, which the world and God and this universe is animalistic, whether you want to deny that or not, go do some alchemy. And whether you're going to understand that part of life, people like come up to me all the time like, gosh, can you believe this is happening in the world or whatever? I'm like, when has it never not happened that way? We just have a news media now that pushes it in your face and gives you an opinion that makes you think that that's really bad. But as we're speaking right now, somebody's dying, somebody's being born, somebody's being murdered right now, somebody is getting engaged, somebody is finding out a cancer diagnosis, somebody's being cured of cancer right now, somebody just died in a car crash right now, somebody just survived a car crash, somebody just bought a new car, somebody just lost their car to repo, somebody just lost their job, somebody just got news that they're getting a new job. Like, that doesn't stop every second. I can repeat this with you we could just say that and do it all again in the next 5 minutes, and it's all that shit's gonna happen again all around the world. So, you know, somebody's getting shot right now in every fucking place. Not just America, everywhere. Or they're being murdered with a knife, or they're being murdered with whatever, or they're being abused emotionally, or somebody's being given the most inspirational moment of their life. That is the animalistic nature of this reality. It is chaotic, whether people want to admit it or not. It is. And to try and take chaos and throw it in a cage, which is what people are expecting right now, it will get more chaotic. The more you accept the chaos and find nature as the beauty of the chaos that it is, and do something with the chaos of creativity. This is the best Leo final video I could ever do with the sun at 29 Leo, before we go into the craziness, is unless you know how to accept the chaos of life, find the beauty in it, because a lot of the spiritual community does not do well with the beauty of the understanding of chaos. They dip in through yoga, or they dip in through something, and they get this like puristic form of spirit. And then they don't realize that that form is not pure in the way that they think that it is. It is pure in the chaoticness that it is. That is where alchemy trumps all this kind of stuff, right? Like, that's where you learn the understanding of the true course of this universe. It's unfair that some stars are bigger than others. It's unfair that some comets go and hit things. It's unfair when asteroids hit other places. There is a chaotic universe. There is black holes that are taking everything out of a system. There are planets that are dying, or suns that are dying, and that are killing planets every day. All around the whole entire multiverse. It is fucking chaotic. But it is fucking beautiful for the chaos. And those that sit and understand that chaotic element and embody the chaotic element of understanding go through life okay. But those that don't know how to understand it, those that don't want to embody that and try and move into the perfectionism element, or this puristic one, are not real, number one. And are throwing the chaotic universe in a cage, and you think that chaotic universe is going to just stay in that cage forever? No, it's going to get more chaotic and more chaotic and more chaotic, and it's going to try and bust out of that motherfucker, because we are in a universe that wants to bust itself out of anything that tries to trap it or hold it down, including human beings. We're trying to figure out how to get the fuck off this planet all the time, or why are we here? Or when something doesn't go right, you want to get out of the job. Or if a relationship doesn't go right, you want to get out of the job. If you're not happy at a party, you want to get out of the party. So, it's edgy and beautiful. Soft and hard. It's all of it. and to try and corner it all into one direction only, especially in the spiritual community, it'll be an ultimate failure. So, I'm going to go. I have a lot to do, and I appreciate you all listening to this. I don't know what else to say, except I appreciate you all that follow me and support what I do, and those that don't support what I do and choose to leave, which happens every day, but that's fine, because it's an in and out chaotic universe, and not everything goes exactly to plan. Not everything goes exactly the way that, and some people like me are born with 3 odds, so always something interjects everything. So, you know. Anyway, I love you all. I will see you later. And don't forget the animalistic heart and nature and truth that you are, and accept that parts of yourself, and then use this Virgo to transmute the best way that you can. The best way that you can. Never comes out perfect. So be okay with yourself with that. I love you all. I'll see you later. Peace.